This is India Today Global's continued coverage on one of the biggest stories unfolding right now. Lebanon is under massive attack by Israel, and the fate of Hassan Nasrallah still not known, while news agencies from within Lebanon and Iran are saying that he's safe. There are reports coming in from Israel that they're still trying to find out the fate of Hassan Nasrallah. Now, what really happened? Israel targeted the Hezbollah headquarters, in the heart of the suburbs of Beirut. And what we're given to understand is that it was a residential building, but yet there are reports that are coming in of massive casualties. But when it comes to the chief of Hezbollah, there is no confirmation on whether if Israel succeeded or whether if it was a failed assassination attempt. India Today Global is the only Indian channel to be on the ground in Lebanon. There is no other channel from India that is reporting out of Lebanon. Ashraf Wani, a senior journalist with India Today Network, joins us from Beirut. But before I go to him, let's listen in to what the Israeli forces did through through a spokesperson of the IDF who spoke a while ago and detailed out the strike carried out by Israel. Listen in.
The Israel Defense Forces carried out a precise strike on the central headquarters of the Hezbollah terror organization that served as the epicenter of Hezbollah's terror. Hezbollah's central headquarters was intentionally built under residential buildings in the heart of the Dakhia in Beirut, as part of Hezbollah's strategy of using Lebanese people as human shields. On October 8th, Hezbollah started attacking Israel. After almost a year of Hezbollah firing rockets, missiles, and suicide drones at Israeli civilians, after almost a year of Israel warning the world and telling them that Hezbollah must be stopped, Israel is doing what every sovereign state in the world would do if they had a terror organization that seeks their destruction on their border, taking the necessary action to protect our people so that Israeli families can leave their homes safely and securely.
And that was the IDF spokesperson detailing out what really happened. Ashraf, you've been reporting out of Lebanon and have traveled to parts that were quite dangerous as well. Give us a sense of what's really happening on the ground. You're back in your hotel. You seem safe. These are very difficult times when it comes to what's happening on the ground for the people of Lebanon, but the bigger picture over here, and I'll detail it out to you till the time Ashraf joins us. There are details that are coming out from Israel now. From Lebanon, Israel's IDF struck Hezbollah's headquarters after intelligence was confirmed that Hassan Nasrallah was present there. Now, these are visuals that we received some time ago on what really happened, and you can see smoke billowing out of the buildings, and it is not a very safe scenario when it comes to even the civilians. There are massive casualties over here. What we are also given to understand is initial reports that are coming in say that Hashim Safieddine, who was head of Hezbollah's executive council, has reportedly been killed in the strike. Safieddine was considered a leading successor to his cousin Hassan Nasrallah as Secretary General and is Qasem Soleimani's daughter's father-in-law, which means that Qasem Soleimani and Safieddine were related by marriage or through marriage of their son and daughter. Senior Iranian official also said that they're checking conditions of Nasrallah, whether if he's safe or not. There were reports that came in later that he indeed is safe. These are details that are coming in right now from various quarters. Again, another news that has come in is there is no confirmation on this one, but the details that are coming out are of the bomb. Now, some reports suggest that the bomb that was used weighed weighed a ton and was an American make. We do not have confirmation on that, but that's news that's just coming in. These are multiple bunker busters that we've seen in the attack, which means that Israeli intelligence knew exactly where the bunkers were within that entire building. And it is believed that the most significant strike in Lebanon has taken place today, which will see a massive escalation in the war between Israel and Hezbollah. Beirut's suburbs this is the suburban area which was bombed, and this certainly creates massive tension between Lebanon and Israel. One has to also understand, and if you go through our episode that we just put out on statecraft, where we're explaining what is it, what were the origins of Hezbollah, why did Hezbollah come about, why does Hezbollah hate Israel so much, and what is the reason why we're seeing the situation as exists in Lebanon today. Very diverse, demographically very diverse country today has Hezbollah not just as a militant wing in the border areas, massive military force, but also in the government in Lebanon. So here is the situation where Lebanon will have to consider and think what's really happening. We believe we have to see whether if there are going to be consequences when it comes to what has happened. We are also given to understand right now information that's just coming in, trickling in, that Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu, who just spoke a while ago at the United Nations General Assembly session in New York, has cut short his visit, and he will be returning very soon to Israel. This because of the situation that's on the ground, and it seems like there is going to be massive escalation, which is something that he will have to take responsibility for. So those are that's news that's just coming in, that Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu has indeed cut short his visit. Now, the larger picture over here, if we could just go back to the visuals, the larger picture over here is that of what's happening on the ground in Lebanon. These are visuals that are telling. They are going to stay for a very, very long time in the minds of not just the people but of Hezbollah as an organization. It started with the day when pagers blew up, and people across Lebanon were blowing up with pagers. Anybody who had pagers on their person, in their pockets, in their bags, were blowing up. A massive shock to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Did not know what really was happening to them. Then the next day came the walkie-talkies, when one thought that they were using one-way mode of communication. Those devices were the target. We had two-way mode of communication. Walkie-talkies also come under attack. This required serious planning, and so does the attack that took place today. It is not just because of the October 7th attack, it is also because Hezbollah has been a massive threat to Israel, and Israel has been planning an entire detailed attack against Hezbollah to decimate Hezbollah for a very long time. And now it seems like they've put that plan to work, put that plan to action, and have carried out those very attacks that they've been planning for so long. It requires intelligence to know exactly where the leadership is. Three very important commanders of Hezbollah have come, not just have came under attack, but were assassinated by Israel. They were killed in action. And there then comes the number of Hassan Nasrallah himself. After almost finishing the second rung, we're looking at Israel now targeting the topmost rung of the Hezbollah leadership. And that's the big story that we're tracking. We'll try to get Ashraf Wani with us,
Yes,
who's on the ground. Ashraf, are you still with us? Okay.
yes,
We
yes.
thought we thought we did not have you, and the reason why we were trying to explain to our viewers exactly what is happening. Ashraf, now you're on the ground. You've seen the situation. Firstly, what kind of intelligence and operational capability did Israel really require to carry out the attack that just was carried out by Israel at the Hezbollah headquarters?
Geeta, as you mentioned about the capabilities of Hezbollah and its formation in your report, the now important thing here is that today's attack was biggest ever attack on the Hezbollah in the recent times. It was 2006 when there was a full-fledged war between the Hezbollah and Israel, and in that war there were the different claims by Israel that they have won it. Hezbollah claims it is as a biggest victory as they retained that area back after the negotiations, what was captured by the Israel itself. I today, early in the morning, on Friday morning, I went to this Dahi area, which is the stronghold of Hezbollah here in the Beirut, in the suburb Beirut. It is a very densely populated area. There are families of the Hezbollah fighters, Hezbollah supporters living with side by to the other people who are in the same area. And as the city is expanding, Beirut has expanded during last many decades, and equally the number of Hezbollah fighters and its members has also increased, who had some come from Syria, some from Iraq, some from Iran, and mainly from the Syria and Iraq. But one thing was clear when this happened just few hours back. I was staying here where currently I am in the hotel room. A big bang was heard. I just opened the window and I saw the people all looking, what is happening, what is happening. And within the seconds, we came to know that Hezbollah headquarters had been targeted by the Israeli Defense Forces. And Israel did not take too much time to claim this attack. And in fact, it was not only monitored by the top leadership and military establishment of the Israel, but also even we are getting reports that Netanyahu, who is currently in New York, US, he has already informed about this operation to the US, its ally, as well as its supporter in the war. But one thing is clear, that now what forward? If today's attack is concerned, I was just getting the report, 6 buildings, multi-story buildings, had got damaged in these strikes in the Dahia area of South Beirut, and there are casualties. Many are killed, many are feared buried under the debris of those buildings, and also many vehicles standing there had been hit by those debris also. But one of the plus points with the Hezbollah is that during last many days, not only the Hezbollah commanders and their fighters are leaving this hamlet of the Beirut, but Nasrullah, even what we are coming to understand, has already left that area, because after the assassination of Fawad Shukur, the military commander, then the assassination of Rocket Division Commander Ibrahim, then on Thursday, the assassination of the aviation, or we can say Air Force commander of the Hezbollah, Muhammad Hussein Sururi, he was also assassinated in the same locality, not far from one place to another place. This part of the Beirut was also bombed in 2006 war, but during
Right.
last 18 years, this area has not only been expanded, but it has been developed as per the wishes and plans of Hezbollah. There is no doubt there are some meeting points, as we saw during the last attack when Ibrahim was killed in the underground bunker of the same locality. So the construction of the Hezbollah Hezbollah supporters and fighters have made construction in such a way where they have kept a space for their operations as well as for their meetings. And today,
Right.
the building which was targeted was the Hezbollah headquarters, but some way we can say a failed assassination attempt by the Israel in Beirut. And as the Iran as well as the Hezbollah claims that he is safe and he was not there.
Right. So you're saying it's a failed attempt, that it's official that Hassan Nasrallah for now is safe?
Yes, absolutely, Geeta, because not only the Hezbollah, even Iran and some news agencies are now claiming that Hassan Nasrallah was not there. And also even Israeli defensive forces have themselves said that it was a failed attempt for assassination of the Hassan Nasrallah, the top leader of the Hezbollah.
But this Ashraf is a really close call. we're looking at the second rung of Hezbollah almost clearly killed and done away with. If Hassan Nasrallah was not in the building, but there was intelligence that he was, and this is the Hezbollah headquarters, and Israel has reached this Hezbollah headquarters, how long before they can actually reach Hassan Nasrallah himself?
Geeta, you well know about the Mossad and its capabilities. They have shown it from decades, not only in the Lebanon, but even in the Palestine, occupied Palestine, Gaza, and then Iran, Iraq, and Syria. If you just count the assassinations made by the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad in Iran particularly, they have assassinated top nuclear scientists of Iran at different locations of the world, and then also the Qasim Soleimani, the top
Right.
ISG Islamically Revolutionary Guard commander in Iraq, and then the top leadership of the Hezbollah during last 1 month. They keep tracking, and they have those kind of technologies where they keep a vigil on the every person, and particularly their target, for months and years together, and finally look for the opportunity to assassinate him. This is one part of their operations. But another story and reality is that by killing and eliminating the leadership, you can't neither eliminate the ideology nor can eliminate or extinguish
Exactly.
any force. They can assassinate the top leaders, maybe including Hassan Nasrallah, but there are other not only fighters and the commanders in the Hezbollah citadel who can manage and are managing the setbacks from Israel in this ongoing war. And also one of the important thing what I came to learn since last 24 hours in the Lebanon is that there are inputs that probably Israel may made ground invasion into the Lebanon by striking the specific targets. They are not achieving any goal, proper goal, what they were claiming they can do in the Gaza for 11 months and near about a year. They have not achieved their goals, what Netanyahu was saying and claiming. They are unable to bring back their hostages, near about 100. If they are bringing anyone, they bring only the coffins of those hostages to the Israeli people. And now there is desperation also, not only in the Israeli leadership, particularly in the Netanyahu, but also among the armed forces and army of the Israel, because they are now tired for last 1 year to engage or to get involved at two fronts, one in the Gaza and another in the Lebanon, will be challenging also equally for the Israel.
Okay, Ashraf, we'll try using one of your own reports and dispatches from the afternoon to show where you were while you were reporting in just a while from now. But coming back to Israel and Mossad, you made a very important point that they do have absolutely brilliant intelligence, but do they have penetration into the Hezbollah, into Lebanon, to carry out such strikes, to pick up such intelligence, knowing the whereabouts of the leaders and striking exactly where the leaders are at that very moment? Because these are precision strikes. Three commanders, you could list them out for us. Three commanders who've been killed, and now Hassan Nasrallah and a failed assassination attempt on the chief himself.
Absolutely, Geeta, you are right. There is penetration, maybe among the Hezbollah ranks. We cannot understand that, but the way the intelligence inputs Mossad and the Israeli army is getting from the Hezbollah shows such things. During the Syria uprising and Syria war, uh, thousands of Syrian refugees turned towards the South Lebanon, and Hezbollah had prime suspicion that probably the people from the Syria are informing and are informers of the Mossad and Israel, and most of them were punished, and even some are in the jails. But during the last few weeks, when the tension between Hezbollah and Israel escalated in the South Lebanon, most of those refugees have now returned back with the population of South Lebanon towards the Syria, and some to the Beirut here where I am currently. But that is not the only way. It is not possible with that kind of intelligence or penetration by the Mossad. It indicates the way the specific strikes are being carried out by the IDF, Israeli army, here in the Lebanon, and among the ranks and the headquarters as well as the installations of Hezbollah, means that they are getting some kind of they may have some kind of penetration where they are getting these kind of specific and correct informations about the movements, as well as about the in advance about the strikes of Hezbollah here in Lebanon.
Okay, just some more reports that are coming in. These are just initial reports, very, very early reports, Ashraf, because the attack took place only a while ago. 2 killed and 76 injured is what they're saying. And 61 are minor injuries and 15 require hospitalization. That's just the initial reports. Now, the biggest story over here is that the removal of rubble may take days, and we expect a rise in these numbers in coming hours. Now, the buildings have collapsed. The bombing was massive, and it will take days for the rubble to be removed. So expect the death toll, expect the number of casualties to only increase from here on. These are just initial reports that are coming in. Ashraf, coming back to the situation when it comes to people, we were just showing visuals a while ago of a long queue of cars waiting to cross the border. And we're looking at over 90,000 internally displaced, many of them leaving Lebanon, but leaving Lebanon, and I've been asking you this through the day, leaving Lebanon for Syria, which is also an unsafe country. So no place is actually safe for a common man in Lebanon, for a civilian in Lebanon.
Yes, absolutely. That we have witnessed. In fact, for last 4 days, international airlines are not also operating. Only the Lebanese local airline, Middle East airline, is operating for last 3 days. Other international airlines have suspended their operations, and the European and American airlines already have suspended them there for a month now. The first of all, the point where you were mentioning about the casualties, I can say that it could be possible that there could be less casualties, because as I earlier in this conversation I said to you, I was early in the morning in the same area, Dahia district of the South Lebanon, South Beirut, where most of the people after the recent attacks have migrated. That means that
we seem to have lost Ashraf Wani. We will try getting him back. But those are visuals that are playing out of people queuing up at the border areas. A massive, massive internally displaced people, the number increasing, the situation only grim. And we're looking at people now reaching Syria. The visuals that you saw just a while ago had Bashar al-Assad, which means that those were visuals coming in from Syria. Might I remind you that that this is the only channel, the only network, India Today Network and India Today Global, particularly so, on the ground, reporting of the situation that is now unfolding in Lebanon. If you see the queue of cars, an unending queue of cars waiting to either cross or move from the unsafe areas to maybe those shelters that have been created or prepared for the displaced, internally displaced people in Lebanon. Many of them have fled their homes to safer areas, and the administration is trying to ensure that they have space. They're now in Syria. That's Bashar al-Assad, and there are shelters that are being provided, refugee camps, shelters coming up in across the border for those homeless, for those who have left their homes, fled their homes in Lebanon, and moved across the border. What is a very sad situation over here is that nobody is safe, neither in Lebanon nor in Syria. The situation really dire. We will have to wait and see what the situation in terms of basic necessities are going to look like. We've been tracking and following and covering stories from Gaza, from Palestine, and things have become rather difficult for people living over there. Sanitation, health, food, basic necessities have really become scarce. And over here, while these are initial days, things are going to get worse if food items, basic necessities do not reach the people of Lebanon in time. We are looking at a massive population over here where people are going to start looking for not just safety but for basic necessities. That's the cost of any war, and the ones who pay a very heavy price are civilians. We will be tracking this story very closely. Ashraf Wani is on the ground. He has been reporting from the ground. We will try getting a report from him. There's a report that he filed just a while ago. Let's take a look at that report and then come back.
The Israel has taken so far the biggest ever strike since October 8th here in the Beirut city. Suburbs of the Beirut was targeted, the Haya district where Hezbollah headquarters were targeted by the Israeli Air Force, and 6 buildings had got completely damaged in this strike. The Israeli army claims that the Hezbollah headquarters has been targeted, and the target was the underground bunker, the meeting point, and the residence of Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah. But so far, the close sources to the Hezbollah has claimed that Hassan Nasrallah is safe and was not residing in that particular building when that was hit. In fact, early in the morning today, I was in the same area, and after the blast, which is just 1.5 kilometers from the location where I am currently standing, there was chaos all across the suburbs of the Beirut as well as in the other parts of the city. Even you can see behind me a lot of traffic jamming here in the streets of Beirut, because already with the population of Beirut, all the displaced people from different locations and areas of South Lebanon had already migrated for their safety to this city. And even they understand that this city is not safe as Israel has already intensified its attacks here in the Lebanon, particularly in the suburbs, which is a very stronghold of Hezbollah in the region. Now it is very interesting to see that what will be the reaction of Iran. The supreme leader of Iran, Khomeini, has said that they are going to take the revenge of each and every strike carried on the civilians here in the Lebanon. During the last 7 days only, more than 700 people had been killed by the Israel in different attacks. More than 2,000 strikes carried out at 1,600 locations across the Lebanon by the Israel during this week, and the biggest of them was today's strike on Hezbollah headquarters. Ashraf Wani for India Today in Beirut.
Well, that was Ashraf Wani reporting from the ground. We were speaking to him a while ago, and it just seems like this is going to get serious. Like Ashraf Wani said, this is one of the biggest strikes that we've witnessed so far when it comes to Israel. Israel has a multi-front war that it has to battle out, but two of the most prominent groups that it is battling is Hamas and Hezbollah. While the Hamas is an organization they have attacked and tried to contain, that's in Gaza. It is Hezbollah that's the more powerful one, with way more capabilities, lots of more machinery at their disposal, artillery, rocket fire, missiles, so on and so forth. Also, massive ground force and intelligence. Netanyahu had announced that ground forces are going to enter Lebanon. And even before they do that, they have struck the Hezbollah organization at its heart, which is not just the headquarters, but also an attempt to assassinate none other than Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah, which is going to take a very serious turn, because there is going to be certain retaliation that you will be seeing from Hezbollah. And we've been saying this, but we do know that the communication links and communication systems of Hezbollah right now are absolutely faltering because of the way Israel penetrated their communication systems with pagers, walkie-talkies, everything now at bay. Hezbollah fighters are not touching those because of the seriousness of the situation and the threat of exploding. And while that might be the case, experts have said that Hezbollah does not absolutely rely on technology and technological communication devices. They do depend a lot on human resource and communicating through humans, which is the old mule or donkey form, which is what they will continue doing. We'll have to see whether they can regroup or not. But for now, even before the ground forces are planning on entering Lebanon, the biggest strike has taken place. India Today Global is the only channel from India reporting from Lebanon. We will keep coming back to you with all the latest developments from Lebanon and how the theater of war in West Asia is only expanding. Thank you so much for watching India Today Global.
India Today Global is on ground zero in West Asia. Will this new conflict set fire to the Middle East? Ashraf Wani brings you the latest from the devastating Israel-Hezbollah war. Watch it all live only on India Today Global.